Think of the most expensive car on your street. The newest model, the cleanest finish. The one that makes people look twice when it pulls into the drive. Now ask yourself, is the person who drives that car the wealthiest person on your street? In most cases, the answer is no. Not even close. The most expensive car on your street is almost never owned by the wealthiest person on your street. In fact, across multiple decades of wealth research, the relationship consistently runs in the opposite direction. The more visible the wealth, the less actual wealth is behind it. Today the Wealth Slate is going to show you what genuine wealth actually looks like. How genuinely wealthy people spend their money, what they refuse to spend it on, and why the entire luxury industry is built specifically to extract money from people who are not wealthy by making them look like they are. Wealth and the appearance of wealth are two completely different things. They are funded by the same resource, money, but move in opposite directions. Genuine wealth is a number on a balance sheet, assets minus liabilities. A genuinely wealthy person has significantly more in assets than they owe. Those assets generate income. That income covers their lifestyle without requiring them to sell their time. The balance sheet grows over time regardless of whether they are working. The appearance of wealth is a signal sent to other people. It requires spending money on things that depreciate or produce no return: cars, clothes, watches, restaurants, holidays, in order to communicate a status that may or may not be backed by actual assets. Here is the critical point. Every dollar spent on the appearance of wealth is a dollar that cannot be working on building actual wealth. The two are not just different. They are directly competitive. Every dollar performing wealth is a dollar not building. The data on this is stark and consistent. The landmark study of American wealth, the Millionaire Next Door, found something surprising. The majority of genuinely wealthy people in America live in ordinary houses, drive ordinary cars, and wear ordinary clothes. Their wealth is almost entirely invisible from the outside. By contrast, households with the highest spending on luxury goods and visible status symbols were overwhelmingly those with high income but low net worth, high earners, low savers, impressive lifestyle, thin balance sheet. The psychological mechanism behind this is called social signaling. Humans are wired to communicate status through visible markers. In a world where actual wealth is invisible, people substitute visible goods as proxies. The problem is that visible goods cost money. Every dollar spent on a signal is a dollar removed from the balance sheet. High income plus high spending on status equals high earner. High income plus low spending on status equals wealth. Stealth wealth has a consistent set of characteristics across cultures, countries, and income levels. Once you know what to look for, it is not difficult to spot, even though it is designed to be invisible. The home is usually in a good area, but not a flashy one. Functional, well-maintained, not maximally priced. The car is usually several years old, well-serviced, and practical. Not the cheapest, but not the newest or most visible model. The clothes are quality without logos. There's a difference between spending $400 on a well-made item that lasts 8 years and spending $400 on a logo that lasts 18 months. Genuinely wealthy people have learned this distinction. The spending that is not visible, the accountant, the lawyer, the financial advisor, the investments, is where the real money goes. Every dollar that does not appear on the outside is doing work on the inside. Stealth wealth expensive where it compounds. Invisible where it doesn't. Genuinely wealthy people are not cheap. They spend significant money, but they spend it on categories that are almost entirely invisible and that produce returns. Time, the single most consistent spending pattern across genuinely wealthy people, is buying back time. This means paying for things others do themselves: cleaning, cooking, administration, logistics. Not out of laziness, but because the free time generates more value than the cost of the service. Time is the only resource that cannot be earned back. Genuinely wealthy people treat it accordingly. Professional advice. Accountants, tax lawyers, financial advisors, specialists. People who charge for expertise that saves or generates more money than their fee. This spending is almost never visible. It is also almost always the highest returning expenditure in a wealthy person's budget: experiences and health. Not luxury holidays for status signaling, but meaningful experiences and investments in physical and mental health. These produce well-being without generating visible signals that need to be maintained. Here is something the luxury goods industry does not advertise. The majority of their revenue comes from what they call aspirational buyers. People who are not wealthy but purchase luxury items as status signals. Not people who can comfortably afford the product, but people who stretch to access the signal the product represents. The genuinely wealthy, the people the brand imagery depicts, are a minority of actual purchasers. They buy luxury goods because they like them, not because they need the signal. They are not the target market. The target market is people who believe that owning the product will communicate wealth they do not yet have. Luxury brands know this. Their pricing strategy, their marketing, and their aspirational imagery are all designed to make the product accessible enough for the aspirational buyer while exclusive enough to maintain desirability. The goal is to extract money from people chasing a signal, while maintaining the fiction that the signal is associated with actual wealth. Luxury brands are selling status to people who can't afford IT. That is the business model. So here is the Wealth Slate verdict on looking rich versus being rich. There's nothing wrong with spending money on things that bring you genuine pleasure. A car you love, a restaurant that matters, clothes that make you feel good. None of that is the problem. The problem is spending money to signal a status you do not have, to people who are also spending money to signal a status they do not have, while both of you fall behind the people who are quietly building real assets with the money neither of you is spending on signals. Genuine wealth is fundamentally private. It does not need an audience. It does not require an update. It does not depreciate on the drive home. The most expensive thing you will ever own is other people's perception of your wealth. Because maintaining that perception will cost you the actual wealth you are trying to represent. This is the Wealth Slate. Financial truth, told in black and white. New video every week. See you then.